Okay, we got another walking and talking here. Let's find a base before I jump. Ooh, that looks kind of cool. Trying to find ones. GG. Oh, really want to do that one, but I can't walk and talk. But I do want to do it. Can I look at the question? Let's see. Let's see. Oh no, recent events. Uh-oh. Hmm. Maybe not the one for that, to be honest. Let's check this one out. Because you know what I can do? I can fuck around on these and talk, but I have to. So the question is from Craft2299. Recent events, maybe not big controversial ones, just innocent stuff like in the gaming and whatnot. Also want to say that your voice to me sounds a lot like Under the Mayo. Do with that what you will. I tried to look that up. I think he's a Twitch guy. I don't watch too much YouTube or you know, anything along those lines. I like this. It's almost like a broken rock kind of floating with magic type of deal. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm gonna stay out here for just a little bit. Current events. Well, you know, world's been kind of weird these last. Jesus, that went down really far. Let's look for tombs. That's something we can do. Recent events. Ooh, it's kind of a hot subject here in the States for any of you that aren't here. I'm sure you kind of know it's been volatile. I think it's hard to not touch on too many subjects that won't offend people, and I think it's probably because we're all a little stretched thin. You know, it's one of those things where small things are a problem and bug you because it's not the small things. They've all kind of gathered up over time and piled up, and it's kind of one of those things where if you're in a relationship and, you know, one day someone leaves a sock out and you know, the other person's like, why do you hate me? And you're like, what? I'm not using that as a real example, so don't think that actually happened, although that's not outside of the realm for someone like me. But it's my point being, it's not the sock, right? It's a multitude of other things that have built up, and that's kind of the straw that breaks the camel's back. We're in a bit of a growing phase for us here in the States. I think there's a lot of us that just want people to be cool with each other and be nice. What the boy, did I pick wrong or what for this subject? Well, you did go after the lights, Joe. That's on you, and you need to work on that. You're getting baited. This is bait, dude. Like literally, guys, like throw lights on there, they'll come, and I'm like, whoop, I think, okay. It's tense. I think it's tense everywhere. I haven't been everywhere, but it's hard for me to believe. I mean, as much as I think we're all a little bit more interconnected than we think. I certainly know that sounds, oh shit. Well, I couldn't get out of that little lip, and you know what? Good lip. I don't mean that in like a granola hippie way. I mean, I think what we do in different places, you know, ripples out, both good and bad. You know, and that's just cause and effect. You know, if you're nice to people, you know, they'll be nice back most of the time, I think. I didn't always believe that, by the way. We won't get into that. That's not the subject we're talking about. The current events, I'm sure I gotta remember that this is a reset. I'm like thinking these are all put down. This is fun. I'm sorry if it isn't for you guys. I'm not going to be playing as good on these maps as I do these walking and talking. I know I kind of said that, but I just want you aware so you're not like, Jesus Christ, Joe, like, what the fuck are you doing, you know? It's more I want to, this is for the, all right, this is what we're going to try. I'm going to try that again. Because I wonder if on these walk and talks it might be fun to just go in. Oh, I'm going to tank my shit though, aren't I? Maybe I should be careful about that. That's okay. The rank isn't as important as, you know, shooting the shit. Oh, man, that lip really, really messes you up. All right, I got to go up and get that. It's really tense here. A lot of people are very angry on all sides, and some of them have good reasons, and some of them maybe not so much, I would say. Oh, that bullet's gonna get me if I'm not. Yeah. Ooh, that was close. I think we're all stressed out, and it's really easy to get mad at stuff that maybe would have just kind of been like, ah, whatever, you know. And that's kind of the whole country, though, a little bit. We're just we're a little divided. You know, in whatever camp you're in, that's troubling. You know, whichever side you're on, it's a weird thing to say for those of you who aren't here, but our politics are a little bit, yeah, this is hard, huh? Our politics got a little more serious in the last, I don't know, what would you say, 10 years? And it used to be like you could just kind of believe a certain something, and you might be like, oh, you know, you razz them like someone had a different sports team. It became a little more like, you know, a line has been drawn in the sand, like, where you at? And it's kind of got people in a bad place mentally, I think. Oh, yeah, that guy. Both sides, everybody. Someone said something that was really, really cool that I will share with you. Oh, you fudger. I wonder if I can get that from the outside. He said, you know, no matter what's going on in the news, media, etc., you know, about where people are at and kind of maybe even in some cases fear mongering. All you need to do is look no further than like your local grocery store and, you know, see how people treat you. You know, they say hello, they say thank you, you know, depending on where you're at, maybe not so much. But on the whole, in your community on the ground level, people are mostly good. And you're always going to have some mad people, of course. But on the whole, let me just get these real quick. Ah, that's where you are, my friend. I've been looking for you. Let's just get a look at the space. Okay, so it's got a lot of pistons. Go to your local places, you know, and just see how people act. And people are good, you know. A lot of sometimes, I shouldn't say a lot, there's a vocal minority that kind of like to yell a little bit, kind of like the people you knew when you were a kid that just used to, you know, yell about shit. Maybe you were like, all right, it's not that big of a deal. But you got to also respect people's feelings, you know. You might not always agree with it. I don't agree with a lot of people's feelings. But it doesn't mean, you know, they aren't there. I'm not trying to turn this into like some weird fucking psych session, so I'm sorry. I kind of just let my brain go. I hope you guys don't mind. It's just easier for me, and otherwise I'll be stopping and going nonstop. So if I get off your subject and you're really like, hey man, could you just touch back on that? You can comment again. I think that's fair because I don't want to waste your time, you know? So there's some angry people here, and that kind of advice was, I think, given to me, not directly, but I kind of heard it, and it was just like, see how people treat you in your town and around you, and people are pretty good. They just want to live a peaceful life. People don't really want to fuck over many people. They're at least in the majority. And as I'm just going to say formerly selfish person, I know that doesn't make sense, and I can explain that somewhere else down the road if you guys want. Let's see what we got here. So this is gonna... Oh, that's a second phase. That's a problem. Maybe not. I'm gonna bounce this and then I'm gonna try for it and see if I get a blow up. Yep. Sounded like a flame. Ah, that means this is gonna be a problem. Okay. Well, this is what we do, fellas. And one lady, because I accidentally hit the whatever that algorithm thing was. That was a mistake, by the way. And there is one woman out there, so I should say guys and gal moving forward, I guess. Just kidding, of course. I'm just going to blend you in with guys like I always do, because let's be honest, I'm not doing that. So if I bank this, this should get both, depending on if this is a corner slot. That's got to be flat, because it can't be a corner going this way, or can it? Let's trigger it, and that'll teach me. Yeah, so it's a straight on. Okay, so probably straight on, which means this grenade probably won't work, but for science, let's check it out. Nope. But I wonder what else it got. It's kind of interesting. All right, you just gotta... No. See those dang pistons, man? They'll get you. All right, come on, pop out, please. And then we Ooh, that's shit, huh? Problem. All right. Well, if this is all that's left, then I'll let that go by. Yeah. So things aren't super great here mentally. I think we're kind of a little bit fractured at the moment. I think we're pretty good at adapting. So hopefully, we can change that, and good people on whatever side you belong to can work together and realize, it's really we're all one people. We might think differently a little bit and value some things at greater or lesser levels, but on the whole, it's just I do. Oh, these turn red too. Well, that's fucking cool. Shit. Well, now I want that. Damn. Did I get the gen mat? Man, that's wild. Talking and doing this, I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing. I think I'm just on autopilot. That's kind of cool. Artistic, and he had phase 2 traps, right? Those are brutal, definitely. Yeah, I hope we can get over it together, all of us. We all just need to work together a lot more. There's so many fucking smart people out there, and good people, and people who want to make the world better. They just got to find each other, and they got to work together and get some good stuff going to bring the two groups together a little bit. We kind of need a unifier, wherever that person may be, man, woman, child, etc. Miscellaneous, maybe it's like a dog that learns to speak. Okay, this is already starting to go off the rails. But yeah, I feel bad. In the recent years, everything that's been going on, I've been feeling a lot more like I need to do something for people. I kind of coasted, I would say, in the early parts of my life, and not from like a wealthy upbringing. I'm from a middle class family, but mostly because I didn't give a shit. I just didn't care. And when things were out of sight, they were out of mind. They still are to some degree, but there are things I value now that I didn't. And maybe that's family, kids, being a part of a community. But I kind of see a lot of the stuff I left back then. And when I was like that, I could see how easy it is to just be angry at stuff and just be like, fuck that. It's not my problem. The only people I care about are my family and friends. And, everyone else can eat shit. But you kind of forget that, things ripple out. And if you're in a community, people deal with you, and being nice, or just trying, and just minimum. You don't even have to fucking like mow their lawn. But if you're just like, hey, how are you doing today? And ask them about their day, I think that goes a long way. I do that at, oh, I'm sorry, got an alarm going. I think it goes a long way. No, I don't know if I should give this example because it sounds like I'm fucking trying to think how I can word it. Like the people at the 7-Eleven, I deal with them often. It's just like a local convenience store, and they're always just overworked as fucked, And so like maybe twice I got them some candy. I'm just like, what candy you guys like? And they're like this and that. I give it to them, like it's yours, have a great day. Because it sucks, that job is really hard, and for a while there, they like didn't have people in the morning, so people working double shifts. It's complete bullshit. I understood, and we have a weird work culture here in the States, where it's just like, if there's a problem, you just fucking handle it, and it doesn't matter if it intrudes on your time or your family. And I think that's kind of fucked up. And these people are obviously running hard, but my point is, I got candy for this lady. Who's a sweetheart every fucking time I'm in there. And like 4 weeks later, my wife was like, hey, can I borrow your card? Mine got hacked or whatever. And so she was getting a new one. I was like, yeah, sure. Well, she forgot to put it in my wallet. It was early in the morning for my job. I go in there, and I open it up, and I have my shit that I get every morning. And I like, no credit card. I'm like, oh, this is so bad, dude. Today's gonna suck, man, because I do more a physical job. And the lady's like, here, just take it, you're good. And I'm like, are you serious? And she's like, yeah, like you're always in here and, you're always nice and stuff like that. And I was like, it was like 21 bucks worth of stuff. Of course, I paid her back, actually later that day instead of the next day because I was like, I'm going to forget. I got to get this in. But would she have done that if I just wasn't trying to be nice early on? I don't know. I don't think so. And so it's those small things. They don't come back to you always, and you shouldn't do it to get stuff back. You're doing it for the wrong reason. You should do it because you think putting it out there, it might bounce back to you, and I think it does. And so you're not only helping everyone else around you, but you're really helping yourself. And so even from a selfish standpoint, like I kind of mentioned in another video, how I tried to turn some traits I have that I just know are present into more positive ones. And shoot, I'm losing my train of thought already. Where was I going with that? Let me think. Selfishness. I was definitely pretty selfish. I was actually just trying to figure out how selfish I was in my head. I wasn't trying to hesitate to tell you guys. I was like, yeah, you were. I thought about myself a lot. Some of that was just I didn't think about people when they left my frame, family included. I don't know why that was until much later that kicked in, whatever you want to call that. But I was pretty selfish and just self-involved. I was more worried about my issues. I wasn't like wrecking anyone else's life really. Although I don't know, when I was younger, I was pretty destructive. I've had to apologize to some people in like my adulthood because I felt bad about stuff. But the point is, if you're a selfish person, one of the best things you can do for yourself is just be nice to people or just try and be good. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense, and without some kind of like parameters, it's hard to understand what the fuck I'm even saying with that. But just trying to like look out for people and make them feel good even. I mean, I think that's been the biggest indicator of what's been going on with current events is I think people are so starved for just some nice shit that you can relax with and not worry about and not be judged with or whatever, that when you pay anyone a compliment, it's like fucking over the moon. And if you mean it, and I really think you should really only do that when you mean it, but you can also fudge it and maybe that just makes people feel good too. So, hey, net win is for good. But you see how like it changes them, and you've been when someone you felt really meant it and complimented you, you're like, wow, like I still remember like a lunch lady being like, oh, it's fine, baby. I'm like, I don't even remember what it was. It was like a pizza or something like that. And I was like, man, that was so nice. She was, she's called me like baby or something like that. But those things you remember, you carry with you. And I think that's what we need to do maybe a little bit more. I don't think that's going to solve all the problems in the world, but I can't imagine it's going to hurt it. So in regards to current events there, I think maybe that's where we should start a little bit. We probably got to repair a lot of things going on. I hope things go well here. We have a lot of diversity here in the States. And this is mostly just because I accidentally hit those analytics and I saw that there's some UK watchers and German watchers. We're in a valley right now, and I think we need to pull out. I think, all right, move on. I think that there's a lot of disagreements between the older generations and the younger ones with how they did stuff, things that work for them. I don't know that they work either anymore or for the younger generations. I'm in a weird one, I think, and I've kind of talked about this with my buddies, that it feels like maybe I'm in like a transition generation between the older and the younger, maybe a little bit, and that, a lot of the things that are kind of really scary to them aren't a big deal to me, but I'm also far enough removed from the much younger generation that I don't always understand all the things they're doing. But I think there's some kind of connection that needs to be done between those two groups. And I'd rather it not be like they die off and then like people are like, okay, we can move forward, because that kind of sucks. But I think both generations have things of value, but there's between our political differences and our generational differences, we've kind of been like picking more about the things that we don't share in common. We're like, well, you're out of touch, you old piece of shit. And the old guy's like, fuck you, kid. I built the whatever Suez Canal. I don't know where that is or where I just pulled that out of my brain. But you know, they're getting mad, I think, the older generation, because things are changing, and that's scary, and so is their way of life to some degree. And the younger generation is a little pissed because I think some of the older generations didn't replant the trees after they took the apples and cut them down, I think, to some degree. And I think they have a right to be angry and a little hopeless at times, because I don't think the considerations that were paid to my generation were, or I guess I'm at the top of the younger, or I don't know where I am anymore. But, um, my parents, they were really good to us as kids and responsible, and so we did okay. But it's it's much harder for the generations coming up, and I'm worried about them because I want them to have apple trees, like I did. I think that's only fair, and so I want to do what I got to do to make sure that they're good. And but we all got to make sure we're all good to each other. I know this is like turned into a hippie session. I don't know where that came from, but I just think current events, that's a really good question, and it's one I think that's on the mind of every American. I don't know if you guys in Germany or UK or anywhere else, or Brazil, what you're experiencing. I know you guys have the same things kind of that we do, where people get into power and then they feel like, I deserve a little more. I put in a little more work, and that's kind of like the crack in the dam. And then before you know it, they're like, well, I should manage all this stuff. And, it's hard, it'd be nice to see some really good power players from the different countries coming up. And maybe we need less people that are wealthy. Maybe we need more. I don't know. Maybe we need some people at the ground level, like street level, where, you bring them up, and they can tell you what it's like at that level, because there's such a disparity in what we know about I don't know how Donald Trump lives. I don't know how Charles Branson or any of the other billionaires live. It's a different world for them. It is. Like someone was like, crimes where it's only a fine are just crimes for poor people. Because I mean, it's true. If you hit a point with money where money is, there's so much of it, that someone can pull you over and you're like, I'll just pay it, dude. And you're like, okay, on your way. And he speeds again, and they pull him over, and you're like, I'll pay this one too. Or parking spots. Like, okay, find me the 350. I don't care. It's only 300. It's really only, all the crimes aren't applying to everyone, or the punishments, I should say. So it's a weird thing. And just like it's impossible for them to know what I grew up like, it's impossible for me to know what someone else who really fucking ran through some shit, in the gutter, or got out of some bad situations where it's like, man, no kid should be put in that situation. I don't have that perspective. Shouldn't we have the perspectives of all the different, things up there? Kind of, and maybe we do. I think we've lost faith in our political system here a little bit, both sides. And, we keep catching our politicians doing shit they shouldn't do and mismanaging, and you don't look up how much money they just can't account for. That's never good. But I think it's a growing pain. I think we can get through it. I think we need to stop focusing on our differences and, try and get some shit moving to get us all in a better direction. So, big question. Sorry if I way over answered. I probably will until I get a handle on how to do these. Oh, poor Craft2299. Recent events, maybe not the big controversial ones. Damn, I'm sorry, buddy. I torpedoed that like a motherfucker. I can talk about Under the Mayo. I checked him out. I listened to about 10 seconds of audio of him talking while I was on the shitter before I went to work, and I agree. There's definitely something there. I was like kind of like really tuning in, like, what the fuck is it? Is that? Holy shit. Anyways, thanks for the question. That was really good, man.